Okay, I just want to make a point here. So when you actually get the caddy out, so after you unplug those cables and you pull the caddy directly out, there's 8 screws on the bottom. There's these really wide bottom screws, and there's smaller ones here. So you only need to take the 4 smaller ones off. Those are directly connected to the hard drive. The bigger headed screws are to hold this plastic bar in place. There's actually I don't know if I can properly get that on camera. There's a bit of a bounciness to it. So you want to just take those 4 screws out. I've already taken 3 of them out, but I want to take the last one here. You can see it's a much smaller screw. And then when you do that, this thing pops right off. Wonderful. And then we can take this off, and then you basically got a bare drive. So right now we're going to take this over to the computer here, and we're going to hook it up. So I have kind of a unique setup here. So basically you need a way to hook up a SATA drive to a USB port. There's a lot of ways to do it. I actually have a X360 USB Pro, which you could use to attach Xbox 360 DVD drives to dump the key, update firmware, and stuff like that. If you ever had to repair them, this is critical to have. So that's what I'm going to use here to connect. So there's 2 things you have to worry about. One is the actual, one is the actual SATA connector. So it's going to go into the drive like that, and then the other side goes in the USB. But the other part of it is the actual power. So what I do on my PC, I actually have a long power extension here. It's actually a 4-port, I think it's called a Molex. And then I have it split out to SATA power adapter. And we're going to hook that up to the hard drive, like so. I can feel the hard drive actually power on. And then we're gonna click this into the USB here, or plug it into USB, and we almost immediately get activity. What's really great about, I don't know if I'd say great, but one of the better parts of the Xbox One is the hard drive is a GUID partitioned drive, but it also has 5 standard NTFS partitions, which means if the drive is properly formatted, it should show up here, which it's not. So one of the things we can do, I'm trying to get all of this on the screen here. One of the things we could do here is go into the control panel. And so I really should be doing a screen capture here. I'm going to go to Administrative Tools, Computer Management, and then Disk Management. Let's kind of see what happens. This usually takes a little bit to load. I don't really have a lot of faith that this hard drive is in very good shape, but let's see. It's not, it's honestly making a lot of funny noises. All right, well that's kind of interesting. All right, so it took a while to get here, but the hard drive, let me just show you again. It's blinking a lot, which means it's trying to access it. It's not having any success. On the Windows side of things, we can't load up. It hasn't loaded anything up here either. Let's see what the USB side of things is showing here. Yeah, so you can see the USB 3, the X360 USB is here, but there's no hard drive attached, which is really interesting. So this is still trying to open. My guess is, it looks like the hard drive's crap, which is very interesting. So let's try something out here. So the hard drive is crap, and we pulled it. So let's see if the system will actually boot without the hard drive in it. I don't know the answer to that. My guess would be that you get an E200. So we're gonna leave the hard drive out. We're just gonna plug in the network here, or the Wi-Fi adapter, basically. And then we're gonna, I wouldn't normally suggest doing this, but I want to see if the hard drive is, just being there failing is the cause of the boot up problems. Okay, I don't know if you can see that too well. Let's see. All right, so I just put on the panel, And whenever we want to boot it up here, we're gonna hook up the sound. There's a little speaker here that plugs up to the front. Pretty cool. That's actually the exact same speaker that's on all the special edition Xbox 360s, which is kind of funny. And then there we go. I'm gonna plug in that. Okay. Oh, right. And we're gonna actually put the network adapter back on. For the time being, we don't have to put any screws in, but in fact, until we finish the system, we're gonna kind of leave it like that. So we plug it in. It's plugged in just fine there. And then we're gonna actually attach the antenna cable. Apologize for the awful cam work here. It's funny that it's got, I'm going to take a closer look at that. Why it's painted like that, I don't know. I don't know why this is signify that it's kind of crappy, but it doesn't clip in very easily. There. I mean, it seems to be okay. Yes, but all right. Well, we'll see. If we can get to boot, we'll worry about the effectiveness of that antenna. But here we go. So let's actually move the camera back so you can kind of see what happens here. My guess is we'll get an E200 here, but I haven't exactly things haven't exactly gone to plan so far. So let's keep the fingers crossed on that. Plug it in. Power it up. Oh, of course, part of our problem now is here. So let's just show another thing here. Let's see if that's what we got here. Yeah, all right. So what I do a lot is on the inside of the case here, there's a bunch of clips holding this front piece on. So that is it's one of the easier things to do. But basically, you just pull up on all the clips, and try to keep this in focus here on camera. You kind of go down the line, and we'll do one at a time. As you do this, the faceplate starts to get looser and looser, and there. Now, the idea of this is we can actually see if you'll be able to see this. Yeah, so we can actually put this down on the bottom part here, which is great. So we can actually better use the power button. I'm just gonna unplug it so I don't accidentally power it on while we're trying to connect it. There we go. Again, should kind of spin in there, but first we gotta connect this. So we're gonna do the reverse of what we did before with this connection here. Let's see here. Should kind of. All right, there we go. For some reason, the connectors are giving me a lot of difficulty today. There. Okay, so now we have it so that we can use all the buttons. I did mention before that little this piece here, probably want to put that back behind the bind button so we can actually use the bind button. But anyways, here we go. All right, so let's power this on, see what happens. If anything. Probably nothing. And doesn't look like anything still, which is interesting. I also want to say that the hard drive still can't load here. So let's eject it, or since we can't really eject it, let's just disconnect here, USB, and see if just disconnecting it's enough to get it working. Oh, well, look, it's slow, but wait a minute. Close that. See that again. So we're seeing an F and a G. Something's not right though, I'll say that much. All right. So let's eject it. Just want to see if that immediately has an effect here. All right, it's in a weird state. So we're just gonna forcibly just pull out the cable, and bam. Okay. And you can see this all comes up. So yeah, so something funky about this drive. So, all right. So we're probably gonna have to replace it with another drive. And over here, nothing's going on here.